Peace, 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 fam. This is Oracle Deborah with the Oracle Deborah podcast on YouTube. How's everybody doing today? Happy Saturn Day. It is quite sunny where we are. We never did get any snow this week. Just quite disappointing for me. Um, Not that I necessarily wanted the snow, but I just didn't wanted a reason to not have to go out. Let's put it that way. um, this is you know, this is a little bit of a tough week. I'm not gonna lie. This is a tough week. But one of the things I picked up out of social media this week, says it was a series of things, but it was all a pattern. And it was a lot of beefs and things going on um, with males in the entertainment industry and the content creator space. I feel like a lot of um, there was a lot of conflict. I don't know if it was conflict, but disagreement. It's probably more the better word. A lot of disagreement in terms of the Kendrick Lamar um, halftime show, Super Bowl show. And I think it sort of started with that because the guys were more like, no, I didn't like it. There were females too, but I just picked up where, you know, there was a split decision, if you will, with melanated men, because I don't know if they're all FBA or not. I was just saying melanated men. Some liked it, some didn't. And then there were political ideologies that came into play. Those who were Trumpers, didn't like the show. Those who were Democrat liked the show. So to me, that was just like, okay. So it was like we've all been kind of watching this thing play out. And they made it, a lot about Drake or whatever. Um, but then you saw like Drake was trying to come back. He didn't really come back because his album flopped. But then it was like he got more streams, but he got more streams for an album that people anticipated would be a great comeback, and it wasn't a great comeback. In the meantime, Kendrick Lamar is like, I got the most streams of Super Bowl halftime history, beating out Michael Jackson, which I don't think, even with those numbers, no one can really beat out Michael Jackson. That's just my personal opinion. But he still, in terms of numbers, he exceeded Michael Jackson's numbers, right? And then on top of that, people all around the world doing his dance. It's like his dance is everywhere. Like young people, little kids, grandmas, white couples, like all kinds of people, just doing his dance. So really, we've been watching that play out. And then starts rolling out different beefs, starting with 50 cents and, this big, thing with Big Meech and Little Meech. I don't get into all that stuff. Okay. I just don't, but I'm just watching this stuff play out. So, that kind of was playing out. And then, you know, um, like I said, with different entertainers who are now content creators, like Cam Newton. I think some things is always coming out with him. Like, so he's always kind of beefing with somebody back and forth, or getting on and outing somebody. This week he outed Dame Dash for being a spender, which actually kind of makes sense, I guess, because he does so much, but his net worth is so little, and so I guess Cam kind of came along and put a little piece of the puzzle in there. It's like it's so little because he spends so much. But so then that kind of played out. And then I noticed O'Shea Duke Jackson, he's a content creator, and I listen to a lot of his videos. I actually align with a lot of what he has to say, not everything. Uh, but then I noticed he started coming out defending, God rest his dead, Kevin Samuels, right? I don't know why Kevin Samuels has been so popular in the news. The dude is not even here anymore, and it's not like, I mean, someone could say it's the same like with Tupac or Biggie, but to have conflict come out, it's not like remembering him, or I don't know. I guess it's weird to play back his videos because he's not here anymore. It's different if someone's, I don't know. It just seems different from like a Tupac or a Biggie. Like it would be weird, like if someone all of a sudden. And by the way, rest in peace for his mom. He just passed away. Biggie's mom just passed away. But if all of a sudden there was disputes about, Biggie, it would be weird. It's like he's not here anymore. He can't speak for himself anymore. And that's what's happening with Kevin Samuels. And O'Shea is speaking out on his behalf. But then he took it like 1,000 steps further. He talks about this sphere that was created, which I knew nothing about, called the manosphere. And he talked about who came up with the name, and he talked about who created it and where its origin started. And I mean, when the origin started, I thought it was one thing, but then he came out with a deeper level of origin from how the Black group of the men came out of an initial white group of men. And another content creator called the Angry Man. I don't like most of his content. Some of it I thought I would like, but then I was like, there's something with a podcast called the Angry Man that's probably going to be really angry. I'm just not going to like it. And I mean, there's no shade to him. I mean, to me, for me, it just makes sense. I was like, there's a lot here. And yeah, so it just wasn't my cup of tea. Um, But anyway, O'Shea was like, he's out here shading Kevin Samuels, and then he starts calling out the angry man and how selfish he is. And so I say all that to say, and again, I don't know any of these people, and I pretty much don't care, honestly. The only thing I care about is when I walk out the house. I get a lot of negativity from people who think they know me, but they don't know me. But it's because I am a Black woman. I have a certain shape and build. I have, I'm older, so we get shaded. Black women get shaded by everybody, Black men, Black women, and all other people and everybody else. Like we're literally the focal point of shade. And the younger women get less shade, of course. No, they get as much shade, but then the younger women don't like older women. So there's that shade. And they specifically don't like Gen Xers. So there's that shade. And um, so it gets weird because when I walk out the house, you know, I'm not I'm not in beefs like that. I'm not popular like that. I'm not um, I'm not out in the social scene like that to even have exposure like that, but you have people who are constantly, they get in their groups and they get in their circles, whatever, and they have these certain ideologies, whatever they are, and they bring that out in public. And I saw it a lot during COVID. It was a lot of beefs from melanated people from other countries that were hostile. That's the word. They were very hostile, towards us, towards me. And not me personally as a person because they don't know me, but me as the individual that I am, right? The human being that I am and what I look like when I walk out into the world. And so that's really probably keeps me vocal is because listen, people are starting, has started, had begun to dehumanize us. Um, you know, and not basically wanting us out in social, out in society, basically. Which is kind of weird. Um, and being a business owner, maybe I've been isolated a little bit too much. Because I go out, I meet with my clients, and I go about my business. If I go to a restaurant, and I've been to a couple of restaurants where they were when I was being shaded by Hispanic women. And Hispanic women have a lot of shade towards Black women, and I got it a lot. Even when I was going to their homes and conducting official business, I was actually called out to conduct official business. They were nasty, just flat out nasty. Um, but anyway, I think I'm getting off topic here. The point is, there's a lot of beefs going on between Black men. That's my point. Oh, and I was saying I'm vocal because I'm this vocal because I feel like I need to continue to speak up for people like me. I've always spoken up for other people because they weren't coming at me, but I didn't like people coming at other people for no reason. And now people are coming at me for whatever reasons, and again, just me because of what I look like, kind of thing. And so that's why I'm this vocal about the Black woman thing and people being very specific, like, you have Black women out here who are doing XYZ. Yes, you do. But that's not all of us, right? It's the same with all Black men and yada yada. It's the paintbrush thing. So that's why I'm so vocal. Now, what I hear a lot from the Black male content creators is, um, women, no woman can lead me. Women need to be to submit. I hear a lot of that. You just need to submit. Just do what I say you do. Do what I want you to do. We don't want your thoughts. We don't want your opinion. It's kind of weird because we're human beings, right? So it's just really weird that someone says, listen, I pay for your lifestyle. In some cases, some husbands will say, I pay for my wife's lifestyle and I do this thing. And I've never not known a human being not have a voice or, yeah, just not having a soul. And every soul has a voice. So it gets a little weird for me when I hear that. And they're like, women just need to shut up, right? Because women are, especially American women, we are very vocal and we are very independent. And we've had to be when we didn't want to be independent. We've had to be independent, and not necessarily because we chose a bad man to be the father of our children. Some of us, kind of grew up where we, especially Gen Xers. Gen Xers, they call us the latchkey generation. It was like the ball got dropped on us, and it remained there. The boomers put their foot on our necks. Then this is across the board with Gen Xers. Boomers put their foot on our necks and have kept it there for generation 60, to be exact. This will be the 60th year for a lot of us. Not all of us, but a lot of us. And so I watch how this prejudice plays out all the time, right? And of course, I sit back and I hear what I hear from people, you know? And so I agree with who I agree with and I don't who I don't. If I feel like someone has crossed the line and went too far in their commentary, I speak out. I say something. They don't like it, but I don't care. I say something. So this week, like I said, O'Shea Duke Jackson's been defending the dead of Kevin Samuels, and he's been putting out there. I actually have to appreciate him for being so transparent about all this stuff that's been going on behind the scenes, because on one hand, these males were in front of the camera, you know, doing one thing, but there was a whole big mess going on behind the scenes. And that's what I noticed. There's a whole big mess with men, you know, and they call it beefs because I guess it sounds masculine, but it really is just very messy. It's just very messy. And I'm saying all this to say, maybe it's not a bad idea for women to STFU, to shut the fuck up. And I remember saying this in a video recently, how telling somebody shut up, da 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 da, doesn't work. If you tell, and it's true, if you tell someone initially, try to be more curious, have a conversation, because conversation promotes listening, all that stuff. It does. But I also remember saying, yes, you do need to shut up at times, but it's just the way how someone tells you. But it's okay if you say to yourself, I think I'm gonna shut the fuck up. I think I'm just going to shut the fuck up. And when I did that, I really started practicing it. It's not perfect. And I try to stay in my lane and not get in other people's business because it's not my business. And I definitely tried at one point to not even comment on things that were just like, ugh, to me. I just, I've done better. And it's just moving along, saying this is not worth my energy, just moving it right along. And then sometimes, I'll have those days where I'm like, I gotta say something, And I trust myself. When I say something, it's a reason I'm saying it. I trust myself in that. So what I'm saying today is, for me and for any woman who can relate to this, only for those who can relate to this, it is a good thing for us to STFU, to shut the fuck up. And I'll tell you why. Because this is showing us just how messy these very vocal men out here, how messy they are. They don't have their ish together. They're very immature. I will say that about O'Shea because I think the way he's handled is like, I need to defend Kevin Samuels. I'm going to put everything out here on the line, which is very mature. And it was courageous, right? Because he didn't have to do that. He could have stayed with the code, but he put everything out there. So I'm going to exclude him from this one. But for the rest of the men that I've been listening to, yes, there's a high level of immaturity. I did a video last week, a few days ago, about maturity in our community, and it got literally like 2 views, right? Because no one wants to hear it. No one wants to hear the fact that there is a high level of immaturity in our community. And I'm not talking to the tethers, and I'm not talking to anybody that's not an FBA. I'm talking to FBA folks. Okay, that's it. Okay, because I know in other communities, white, Hispanic, Indian, all that. I've been around a lot of people a lot of times in all kinds of different situations, and y'all issues messy. Y'all stuff is messy too. So please don't like decide to get up in my comments for once, and be like, yeah, y'all are messy. No, no, no. I know y'all got some ish with y'all communities, which is why I made a decision a long time ago to pretty much kind of stay away and to focus on American only. Okay. So a lot of ish going on, a lot of control, a lot of mess, a lot of manipulations, a lot of all kinds of stuff that passport bros have found out the hard way. Some who came home in body bags, some who got hijacked. What's the word? Um, shoot, kidnapped. Some got kidnapped, taken up in the hills, and people had to pay a ransom for them. Like All some were just beaten and robbed. Like they found out the hard way. That's why I was like, y'all sitting here trashing Black American women over this and talking about the earth is your turf and da 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 da. I've said this before. And I said, go on, do you. I just want you to be happy. And they did. And unfortunately, not all of them are happy. Like I said, it is unfortunate that someone had to learn that lesson the hard way and not come home again, or to come home not breathing. You feel me? Or to get to have be that traumatized because some woman over in some other country set you up. They don't like you any more than they like me, but they see more. They see that they can get more value through Black men than they can through Black women, especially if you play sports. That you're an in. Black men are an in for all these people from all these different countries, and they say, we are. I've heard of brothers come out. Another messy guy come out and say something this week like, Black men, we're the most prized commodity. Da da da. No, dude, you're the one they use the most. How many of them are out there when there's protests because one of you got, you know, um, deleted? How many? You understand what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that other women are not there helping you, but they're also brainwashing you too. You're not going to tell me a brother who's married to some other one is not being, because you have to. You're in a relationship, you're going to open your mind to other people's views. That's what happens in relationships, and you're going to be swayed. You're going to be swayed. But the point of this video, more so, like I said, is like making sure that we continue to zip our lips and say nothing, because I'm watching this stuff play out just in this week alone. And I'm saying these are the men telling women, you know, you need to follow us. You need to submit to us. You need to, shut the fuck up. You need to just do what we tell you and done. These are the men saying this to Black women specifically. They're not saying it to the other women, just Black women. And they're probably not talking about me because I'm in the older realm of things. But which is all the more reason why the younger women need to just be like, I'm just going to observe, just like they're doing with these protests. These younger women and all these other women are just observing and watching things play out. We need to continue to do that. We need to continue to do that because then we'll see better. We will perceive better. The truth will be clearer. And it's not that you even had to say anything. You don't even have to point it out. It is just out there. Man, I'm telling you, all this mess has just been spilling out on the internet all week long. All week long. And nobody's saying a thing. We're just literally, it feels like the women just shutting the fuck up. We're just shutting up. And saying nothing is given this platform for these hidden beefs to come out. Like I said, they call it beefs, but it's really mess. It's mess and it's messy. So how are you going to tell someone, just shut the fuck up and follow me? I tell you what to do because I got the blueprint of how things are done. You can't even, these men couldn't even build on their so-called manosphere. They couldn't even build on that. It was falling apart the moment almost that it started. And you want us to follow that? You don't even have community with one another, which you claim you did, but you really don't. And I said that in my last video. So here we are again. Same things, playing out even more. Now, I know what common sense tells me, but I know that common sense doesn't work in situations like this. People don't want common sense. They don't hear it. They're like, whatever. You're just dry. It's like, okay, that's why I shut the hell up. And what am I seeing? And you know what? I wasn't even expecting anything. I was like, you know what? My thoughts, my ideologies are just different. And I'm okay with that. I stand on my square and I'm going to handle my business. That's that's the position I took. That's the square I have been standing on. That's the square many women have been standing on. I'm just minding my business. I'm sipping my tea, drinking my coffee, whatever, and I'm just standing on my square. Y'all do whatever you need to do. Because I've been saying honestly for a while to myself, because this is what's been coming up for me, is if you think about it, men don't need women anymore. It's not that women don't need men. Men don't need women. If you really think about it, you might say, well, we need y'all to have our babies. Well, not really. Because you've put things in place where you've made it difficult for a woman to actually be a human being in your space. So you've trashed this. You talk about the single women. You talk about the single mothers. You don't, you don't talk about how a lot of these women, you're not talking about this. And nobody actually is talking about this. A lot of women have been raised by their fathers. More women lately in the past couple of decades have been raised by their fathers. And them fathers have been giving them the download. Yo, do this, do that, act this way. Sharon Stone talked about how her father raised her and told her how not to allow people to treat her a certain way and how to be competitive and da 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 da. I remember a Sharon Stone video interview years ago, and a lot of Black women have had very close, which is good. I'm not saying it's good, but very close encounters with their fathers, where their fathers have been giving them the cheat sheets, if you will. And so they get out here and dealing with men and they handle the men. Now, why would a man do this to his daughter? Why would he give his daughter those types of break those codes with his daughter? Because you know what they always say? Y'all have heard it. All of y'all have heard it, and I've heard it. They say, because we know how men are. I'm a man, and I know how men do. I know how I did. That's exactly what you get from them. Daughters come along, they love their babies. They want to protect them. They know how they will be treated when they go out in the world. So they give them the code, they give them game. And the women have used the game. And now you brothers are mad because these women who were taught by their fathers are gaming on you, and it's the tables are turning again, yet again. I keep saying this energy is like flipping and flopping all over the place. To hear someone in the rap game, I'm not going to name names, but to hear someone in the rap game, heavily in the rap game for decades, be dismayed about the amount of women in a certain town in America where they're like 99.85% of the women in this town are prostitutes. First it was 90, no, first someone said it was 99.9% of women in the town are workers, street walkers, prostitutes. And then someone came back and it's like, yeah, but you're not counting the women who are married that come into this town to get paid. And they do that thing and then go back home to their husbands. So that makes it 99.985%. So they're talking about 0.15% of the women in this particular town are not out here, getting paid. And how did it come to that? If you ask a man, how did it come to that? They'd be like, how y'all women are below. But they won't admit the fact that you have played on young girls and women for I don't know how friggin' as long as I've been in this world. That's the game I saw. As long as I have been in this world, that is how it has been. And you preyed on young boys, preying on young women, little boys preying on little girls, older men preying on young girls. Like, so it's a game. You went off to college and it was just free fall. You've been doing this for as long as I have been breathing in this realm. And now you're dismayed because they were like, fine, if you want this so badly, pay me. At least I get something out of it. You all want Hold'em so much. But you figure, well, unless you're a dancer, then I'll throw you the whatever, whatever. But people they're like, I don't even have to go in there and do that. You want this, you pay me. When that dismays the men in the game who have done nothing but make women out of hoes in this world. And the women that, wanted to be in that world, whether they thought, I don't know whether they were delusional, whether they knew what they were getting into, or a little bit of both. I'm pretty sure they didn't like being run through. I'm pretty sure it didn't feel good for women to be run through brothers. I'm pretty sure that. I'm pretty sure it hurts them at a deeper part of their soul than you think. All women? No. But I would say a lot of women. And even those who are hard on the outside, they feel some kind of way too. How do I know? I've been around a lot of women. I'm a woman. And I'm a good listener. So people have a tendency to talk to me. And I've heard their stories. Now, they'll kick a brother's ass. They ain't scared of no man. They'll kick your ass, whatever, whatever. But it's about how can they get the money. But at the end of the day, no, I take that back. It's about like how they feel when they get in their quiet time. It's when this stuff comes out because they're souls too. So it doesn't feel good. You boast about running through women. You boast about this. This is your claim to fame. And then when the sisters hit back in the 90s, like scrubs and all this stuff, y'all felt a certain kind of way, but y'all were doing this thing. You don't take accountability. That's the level of immaturity. But messy. And then you flip the script again. You're like, well, we are upstanding brothers. We got wives. And my wife, we didn't have children out of wedlock. And, da 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 da. And You know, you got women standing up behind them and all that stuff. It's like, okay, you know, I'm not gonna try some story. If that's their story, that's their story. I'm not gonna do that. But I just find it interesting how, again, people put on a face. We all do, I guess. We all have our masks. We all have our face when we come out in public. But you got outed. Men got outed this week by their own. Women didn't have to say anything. We didn't have to contribute to anything. We didn't have to point anything out. We just went on about our lives. Some exciting, some just with family, some boring, some depressing, whatever our lives were, we went about our lives. Said, okay, whatever you say. And and then all the stuff started spilling out into the open. This thing didn't go this far because it was because you were selfish. When have you ever pulled someone up and you talk about how somebody, and then you get on your chair and all you do is beg for money and all this stuff. And you know, these two brothers, they out here and now they shut down. My favorite one, I gotta tell you, this is my favorite one. I almost forgot about this one because I really did feel some kind of way about Tommy Sotomayor because this brother's been trashing black women. I don't even know how long. I didn't even know he existed until about 2017 with someone that I was in a relationship, trying to build a relationship with, and he started pulling away. And, you know, and I could see this thing was not going anywhere. And then he mentions Tommy Sotomayor's name. He's like, you never know. I was like, I don't even know who he is. So I go in there and I said, oh, he was out there around the time of Kevin Samuels, if not before. And I mean, this brother was going. There was never an opportunity where he wasn't trashing black women. It was horrific. And I just found it interesting. He has so much hate. He has, present tense, so much hate for us. And so many brothers were like, I think a lot of them were like, no, I can't say that about my mama, auntie, even though, you know, some of the things you say I agree with. He gave them room to say, yeah, I'm tired of aunties and our mamas and our grandma. I mean, it got to the point where, I mean, little young white girls whispering in brothers' ears when I would walk into a store and they would just be like, like, like I was a piece of dung when I walked in the store. And I checked the young brother. I said, I know you're not trying to disrespect me when I know your mama looked like me. I checked him in front of his coworkers and the white girl who was also his coworker. I checked his ass. I said, I know you ain't trying to do that. And that's when I knew these little snow bunnies were up in the classrooms. See, this is where integration doesn't work, DL. This is where it doesn't work. So I get what Broman was saying about integration. A lot of us do. But you know, you're the Democrat and you think that way. We know that, and we don't care. But this is where integration is a prime example why integration is not good for our kids. When they start turning against their own mothers. And why are they doing that? Because they're at risk of being extinguished. The white race is a newer race. They haven't been around that long. And their time is coming to an end. So why do you think they integrating? Anyway, Tommy Sotomayor. Yeah. And O'Shea dragged his ass too. That was the best one. That was the best one. Shout out to O'Shea Duke Jackson. I think that's his name. Shout out to him because that brother did not have to go on air and reveal all this stuff. So he definitely gets, he gets kudos. Kudos to him. Because he didn't have to do it. He could have just continued to lie. But because he has so much respect for Kevin Samuels, he was like, I have to defend him, and this is why. You know what I'm saying? And he still didn't have to do it, but he did. And then, like I said, he went in on Tommy Sotomayor, whom is no longer on. Now, I think the reason why they really trashed Tommy, the men did, is because it was okay for him to have a platform on YouTube trashing Black women. This is where I don't agree with O'Shea, because it was kind of like, you were getting the money from us, and that should have been okay. Okay, but it wasn't. Okay. But Tommy got greedy, and I think he went over to Fox. And, then he got played by Fox. And now his channel is gone on YouTube because I guess a lot of people woke up and it's like, this is hate speech. And it was. And it was. Everything he came out his mouth was out of pure hate. So that was the biggest, surprise and honestly good news I could have ever heard. I think these other brothers, Fresh and Fit, they're also, I don't know, I never listened to their channel, whatever, but I guess they played themselves too, so they're not on Instagram. I don't even know if they're on YouTube anymore, but definitely Tommy Sotomayor is shut down. And the fact that he went over to Fox, which, at that point for the brothers, they were like, okay, now you just greedy. And then Fox played him. But people are going to have to recognize that coming down and saying the things you're saying about all Black women um, is a hate speech thing. It is. And I'm not saying the reason I think no one has really been able to do anything about it is because there are real life stories about the things they're saying, but they're not identifying who these women are, or they're not identifying like this is this age group, this is this generation. Like they're not delineating, you know, they're just saying paintbrushed across the board, all Black women. And that shit is unfair. Because yes, there are things that are true to our culture and who we are, just like there are certain things that are true to white women or Asian women or Indian women or Hispanic women. There are things about their culture that are true to who they are. But you sit there and you pick away all of that, then what do they have left? See, it kind of also goes back to black people, Black Americans don't have a culture. Yes, we fucking do. That's how all of y'all got the swag that you have. You got it from us. And then you want to pick apart Black women. So Black men are like, everybody hates us in the world. But then we got Black women got everybody in the world that hates us too, along with Black men. Not all, but the big mouths. I'll say the big mouths. So, I don't know. I just, I mean, I guess this just goes back to it really behooves us at this point, sisters, to shut the fuck up. Why? Because we're seeing things for what they really are. And this is giving us a lot of leverage. We don't have to sit there and balk and whine or complain or fight or resist or anything like that. they've given us all the receipts that we needed that justify all the things we were saying. We don't have to, they did the work for us. They were like, prove it. Because, all of us, we're like, okay, fine. If that's what you say. See, it's a beautiful thing about surrender. You say, okay, fine. You're right. See how that works out? I'm not resisting. I'm saying you're right. Freeze me, freeze you. Everybody's free. What else could you ask for? And because we have taken our hands off things and said, you're right, the brothers have come out and have crashed out amongst themselves, spewing out all the receipts. So the next time a brother's like, you need to follow us. Like, well, who exactly are you asking us to follow? Because, according to your own receipts, there's this, and there's this. And according to this, you're not even getting along with your own men, your own circle of men. So exactly what am I following? I'm just asking. I just need to know. Well, you need to submit. Submit to what exactly? Because by your own account, you know, there's a level of messiness here. You're beefing with this one, you're beefing with that one, It's a lot of mess here. So am I submitting to a lot of mess? Oh, we all just need to shut the fuck up. Okay, but what am I getting into that I need to just be quiet about? To not say anything about? Because that sounds a bit immature. That you want to be in a relationship or partnership, an equal give and take with someone and tell them to shut the fuck up. Okay, but I don't know how far that's going to take you. So where are men left at this point? You're messy. Not all men now. Talking about the ones, the big mouths. That's how I'm going to delineate the big mouths. You're messy. You're immature. You're constantly beefing with other men. You can't get along with other men. And a lot of y'all are not holding it down. You can't even take care of the woman. That's the other part. Shut the fuck up, but pay the bills. Yeah, kind of like that video with the guy who threw the flowers on the ground. You accepted flowers from another man. Okay, but did you have flowers for me? Oh, that's right. You're not working. And it was from the job that I go to every day to pay the bills. So, okay, if that's what men want, you want to hold it down. You want women to shut the fuck up so you can leave. Okay, well then we're actually not going to agree to the messiness. We're going to not agree to the immaturity. We're going to need you to hold it down, and we're happy to just shut the fuck up. Sit back and sip our tea. Mm. Ah, that's some good tea. Actually, I'm drinking coffee, and it's delicious. You don't like the way I dress? Feel free to dress me. You don't like my hair? Feel free to, you know, chime in on that part too. Free. I'm okay with that. A lot of us are okay with that, but you're going to have to put in the work. It sounds like there's some work to be done with this. Okay. Now, remember, just like when you have a baby, I mean, you don't sit there and feed the baby through adulthood, do you? Like for the rest of their lives, you don't sit them on your lap and feed them a bottle. That's not how that works, right? Right? You actually have to help them become independent so they can walk on their own, talk on their own, feed themselves, get dressed, all that other stuff. This is how you treat a baby into their adolescence and eventually into adulthood where they make their own money and provide for themselves, right? And you realize you can't control them after a certain age either, particularly when by the time they leave your house, you don't get a say in their life either. So, just saying, by that account alone, why would you feel like it's okay to treat another adult like a child? I'm just asking the question. But, you know, a good portion of us women are just shutting the fuck up. We're listening while we sip our tea. Okay? So, beloveds, I know I said a lot in this thing, and hopefully I didn't ramble too much, but yeah, this is my talk, my Saturday, I don't know, my Saturday sit down. That's what I'm gonna call this. A Saturday sit down, and just want to talk about why a grown ass man or grown ass men are trying to convince grown ass women that the only value they have is to be dummies, robots. See, this is it goes back to men don't need women. Get yourself a robot, program your robot, and then you'll be happy. Yes, of course, at this point you gotta pay for one, but and hope that it doesn't turn on you or kill someone in protecting you. What's the name of that movie called? You can't think of the robot that went ballistic, but anyway, yeah, men don't need women. So that's my Saturday sit down. I thought it would be just shut the fuck up, but I don't know. Maybe it'll be both. My Saturday sit down. Men don't need women. I think you're very happy just being around men because you can beef, you can play, you can talk, you can not be around each other, not talk. Y'all can hang out together. For some of y'all who like each other that way, y'all, there's that. You don't really want women, or you really don't need women. And maybe that's why women balked for a time, because it was like, damn, you're happier with your boys than, and they're like, yes, we are. Some of them say, I got my boys, and we have our own houses, we have our own money, and we don't need women. We just need you to come around, boom, and leave, and you can't stay over. You don't, you don't need women. You are perfectly happy with your boys. Perfectly. Women, sisters, I think we can all agree that it's a good thing when we shut the fuck up. Women win when we STFU. Yep. You know me, I got to write my thing down here. All right, beloveds. This is my Saturday sit-in. I don't know how it takes me so long to get to a whatever when I'm done. Maybe this is how this works. I don't know. But yeah, this is my Saturday sit-in. I appreciate you. I thank you. I think I had a new subscriber this week, so thank you. For those who I have not followed back, my apologies to you. I think I was just so excited to see the numbers move. I just forgot to go back. If I could find a way to go back and see who my followers are so I can come back and follow you, I will absolutely do that. I promise you. I don't mean to be selfish, but I did do it for the last person. So thank you. Again, please like, share, subscribe. Have an excellent Saturday, and I will see you next time. Oh, and by the way, don't forget to smile. Please continue to smile, and may your smile shine as bright as the beautiful star that you are.